Hey there, how's it going everyone? Just wanted to share with you how I've been spending my evenings lately. Obviously I'm doing a bit of seeding here. I just got done planting some eggplants. This is the Martha Stewart eggplant, long purple. This is what we planted last year, and I still had some seed stock left, so I was able to fill another mini flat here. And I'm sure some of you are looking at this going, wow, you're a bit late, Dan. And others are going, no, you've got plenty of time. And you know what? You'd both be right. If I had gotten started as early as January, I'd have a nice jump start on the season. But by planting out now, I'm perfectly in line with the season, still not too late. So if you're not already, you might want to consider getting your seeds going right now too. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you where I'm at in my seeding evolution, so to speak. 2018, this is how I'm doing it. Things have evolved a bit and will probably continue to evolve, but I just want to share it with you. As you can see, what I'm using is these Jiffy Peat Pellets. I've been doing these for a few years now. I'm a big fan of using this method for starting seeds. And as you can see, I'm not playing around. I order my peat pellets in bulk. I started doing this last year. This is a bag of 1,000. These are the 36 millimeter. They hydrate really quickly in about 10 to 15 minutes. And this box is over $100, but it ends up coming to 11.5 cents about per peat pellet, which is actually a good deal. And for the convenience of it, there's really no beating it. Now you can use any type of tray to start these peat pellets in. I like to use recycled food trays. They're pretty abundant, easy to come by. I've got a nice array of sizes and shapes, like this round one that has a nice little greenhouse lid there on it conveniently. And all you do is fill the tray with your pellets. You want the side with the little hole on it to be facing upward. And we'll add a little warm water in there. And I don't even bother measuring anymore. I just fill the tray up pretty much close to the top. And then once these peat pots have expanded, usually takes about 10 minutes or so. I can add a little water if they're a little bit dry. I can pour any excess water out, no big deal. Then I just go around and using a knife, you can use something else, I just spread back the top netting here a little bit. This netting is fully biodegradable, it breaks down. The roots will grow through it, so you don't ever try to take the peat moss out of the actual netting. You just let the roots grow through, and you can pot them up to a larger pot just as they are, or plant them directly into your landscape, doesn't really matter. And then I get to my seeding, and after I've dropped a seed or two in each one of these peat pellets, I just again go around with the knife, just barely press that in because it's a small seed, cover it. I mean, it doesn't get any easier than this. You can do this while you're listening to music, watching a YouTube video, in your pajamas, whatever you want. You don't got to worry about making a big mess. And another cool thing about these pellets are that because they are dried and compressed and in a bag like that, you don't have to worry about importing any type of fungus gnat, eggs, or larvae into your system, like if you were bringing in potting mix from a bag at your local big box store, where you can oftentimes bring in some fungus gnats or soil from your yard. You don't have to deal with that with these pellets. And there you have it. After just a couple minutes, I got 22 eggplants planted here. Now I'm going to tag this tray, and what I do, I've got a little cup here with both popsicle sticks and these little plant markers. And I keep a roll of this blue painter's tape out here with me as well, because I like to actually put a strip on my plant markers before I write on it, because then I can just remove that painter's tape later and reuse these again and again. Okay, and that goes in there like that. Now we can move on to our next tray. And another reason I like this blue painter's tape is because if you got any leftover seeds in your packet, this makes a really good way to seal that package shut again. And then when you got to open it, painter's tape removes very easily. Also, after I've seeded a tray, I put it into a Ziploc bag labeled 2018. I do this every year. It's just a real convenient way to keep track of what you planted. And then, like in the case of these eggplants, for example, I actually pulled those out of my 2017 planting bag, so there was leftover seeds in there. And so these are some of the first seeds that I'll go to if there's leftover from the previous year, so that I'm using older stock before I'm buying anything new. And then again, if you come across something that you grew that you really enjoyed growing, you've got the package there to confirm exactly what it was that you grew, so that you can order more of those seeds if you need to. Hopefully you're saving seeds if you can. So once I've got my tray seeded, I like to place it on a heating mat just to keep it nice and warm until I see sprouts start to come up, at which point I turn on those grow lights immediately. So here's one of my grow shelves, and I actually have several. This one is now fully operational, but each tier on the shelf has a heat pad, and these remain on 24/7 until the sprouts come up. Then I usually turn them off unless it's really cold. Then once the sprouts come up, the light goes on, the heating pad goes off, and I have the light set in an 18-6 schedule, so 18 hours on, 6 hours off for vegetative growth. This tray over here still has yet to sprout, so I actually have the heating pad still on in this case. The bottom two shelves here just have heating pads, so I'll move those up to the lights as they begin to sprout. The lights that I'm using are these snap-on LED work lights, and these are a great light to get seeds started. They're 2000 lumens, 5000 Kelvin. And I picked these up on deep discount. They were being blown out at my local Costco. So I actually picked up quite a few of these. With that being said, it was an investment. These lights will last an extremely long time, 20 plus years hopefully. I saved all the boxes and the packaging, thinking that if there ever was a time where I wanted to put these back in the box and resell them, I probably wouldn't have much of an issue doing so, and I'd be able to recoup the majority of the money that I paid for the lights. And as far as electricity is concerned, these lights have a very low cost overhead. Each light only costs about $1.70 per month to run on that 18-hour on, 6-hour off lighting schedule. Anyway, I say use whatever lights you can that'll grow plants. There's another way that I utilize these lights to grow plants as well. I put together a grow box to start seeds in, and I made a video demonstrating that in the past, but very efficient way to get seeds going. Very easy setup. I'll put a link to that video below this video in the description if you want to check it out. Now once my seedlings get 2 to 3 inches tall, or I notice that the roots are starting to now grow into each other, I'll transplant up in most cases to these plastic cups where I've cut a couple drainage holes there on the bottom. I recommend using a sterile soil mix, again trying to avoid having any issue with the fungus gnat. And then once I do transplant, I'm going to also be putting a mulch on top of here using some chick grit, which is some crushed granite. That's also going to just help keep the moisture into the pot, as well as keep the fungus gnats from laying their eggs that turn into larvae. Alright, so it's been 10 minutes now. You can see we've got too much water in this one. I'll just quickly pour out the excess, and we're good to go. When working with these, I do prefer them to be on the soggy side. You can see how the moisture just comes up like that. Because I'm putting these on a heat mat especially, that moisture dries up pretty quick. I'm usually adding water to these trays just about every day. And when I do water these plants as they grow, what I do is I just pour water right here into the tray. I don't actually have to top water any of these plants because these peat pellets here will just wick up the moisture from the bottom of the tray. And you can buy these Jiffy Peat pellets in bulk, either in a package of 50, 100, or 500. So a lot of options with that. So that's all there is to it, guys. I've got plenty more seeds to grow. Each and every night I try to get at least one tray done. This is my current setup here for 2018, how I like to get my seeds started. It's an evolving process. I'm sure as things change I'll keep you guys filled in. But I find that this works great. It's economical, easy, clean. Well, that's going to do it for now. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Hope if you haven't already that you consider growing some seeds this year. You know, there's a lot of things that you can grow at home that you just can't find in transplant form at your local nursery or your big box store. So if there's something unique or interesting that you want to grow, make sure you get those seeds and you start getting them planted now. We're not going to get much of a jump start on the season this year, but still we are right in line with the season. So as long as you get those seeds going now, you'll be fine. You'll be transplanting these out into the garden at a nice size 4 to 6 weeks from now. Like I said, from the peat pellet into a cup or a smaller pot. Let the plant get 4 to 7 inches tall or so. Go plug that right into the garden and you'll be in business.